Okay, so today we're going to cover diversity best practices. Develop and implement supplier diversity best practices and standards. So industry norms. Organizational policies typically address the following things. Purpose of the program, definition of a small business according to your organization, scope of the program, objectives and benefits, responsibilities of the organization, exceptions to the program, execution strategies, tracking methodologies, reporting procedures, and persons who have the responsibility for coordinating the program. Strategic benefits, establishment of an active supplier diversity database. Is that what that is? Small disadvantaged business or small business initiative enhances an organization's image within the community and its customers. If an organization is a consumer-based business or supports such a business, image is very important to the organization and to the bottom line. People get upset with you, they don't buy your products. Goal assessment, need proper coding of the supply base, which lists all the organizations, large and small, socially and economically disadvantaged. Periodic reports of all supplier activity within these categories should be generated and compare goals with actual performance. Customer-driven requirements, because changing demographics, SB and SDB initiatives are becoming more market-driven than compliance-driven, especially in consumer businesses. Consumer-related businesses are very conscious of the changing demographics and the need for inclusion in the procurement process. Subcontracting plans. In some cases, such as government contracts, organizations are required to use diverse suppliers. And social responsibility, diversity, and inclusiveness in the supply base is an important component of social responsibility. Benchmarking. According to CAPS, which is the Center for Advanced Purchasing Studies, research benchmark report on supplier diversity programs, the following is true. This comes from a CAPS report. More than 84% of the organizations surveyed followed written procedures for sourcing regarding diverse suppliers or disadvantaged businesses. 66% of the organizations encouraged their top tier suppliers to maintain supplier diversity programs. That would be their tier ones, with 15% requiring their suppliers maintain a program. So encouraged is 66%, required is just a little under 16%. With second tier suppliers, 48% of suppliers are encouraged and just under 5% are required. Almost 65% of the organization had a certification process for diverse supplier verification for tier one suppliers, with 15% using a certification process for tier two suppliers. Usually, that's kind of a misleading stat. Usually you would require the tier ones to have a program and have them do the certifying of the tier twos. The average number of employees assigned to the supplier diversity program was 4. Here's some advocacy groups that can help with finding diverse suppliers and defining what a diverse supplier is. The National Minority Supplier Development Council, the NMSDC, the WBE, which is the Women-Owned Business Enterprise. Whether or not this is a diverse supplier, the veteran-owned small business is kind of up to your company's policies. Or veteran service disabled veteran-owned businesses. LGBT businesses enterprise, National Gay and Lesbian Chamber of Commerce, Hub Zone, the historically underutilized business zones, help small business in urban and rural communities. And the NMSDC, National Minority Supplier Development Council International, and WeConnect are partnering with leading global corporations to define standards and best practices for certification processes, trying to do it globally. Trade groups, supplier diversity, industry groups, Ariba, Sourcing Industry Group, SIG, ThomasNet. Those are some industry groups. Trade industry groups such as Diversity Information Resources, or DIR, formerly TRI US Resources, is the best known. So DIR is the best known. Many trade fair entities, including cities, counties, states, individual organizations, women's organizations, and local minority purchasing councils, conduct business fairs. Got to kind of look around to find them. Government groups, the U.S. Small Business Association has a computerized directory of small businesses and small disadvantaged businesses, officially known as ProNet. And ProNet a few years ago was rolled into SAM, which is the government system for award management. The Global Supplier Diversity Alliance, supplier diversity platform representing international supplier diversity advocacy organizations in 5 countries. South Africa, China, Canada, United Kingdom, Australia. And when the diverse supplier is a tier 2 supplier, the tier 1 supplier should share the following information: technology, quality systems, key contact personnel, and other contracting opportunities. Best practices. A benchmark is a standard or a point of reference used in measuring an organization's performance according to selected criteria. CAPS Research prepares supply management benchmarks for a variety of industries. The CAPS benchmarking. This is CAPS. Best practices. The objective is to find organizations that perform a particular task the best and then try to emulate it. Answer the question, how are we doing compared to the leading edge organization? That's benchmarking, or best practices, I guess. One organization is not always the best in class in all areas. One organization may be best in class for diverse supplier identification, another may be best in class for diverse supplier development. So that's best practices. Before initiating a best practice study, an organization should answer the following questions. Are you willing to make changes? Is the expected improvement worth the expenditure? Are the expected results important to the organization? Does the process affect critical success factors? Have all investigations been completed? Has the organization begun measuring anything? Does the organization know the major cost components? And is the organization willing to wait for best practice study? Is the organization willing to reveal information about its own processes to outside organizations? Supplier diversity best practices. The following should be part of the diversity program. Program goals in all performance reviews. Provide a web-based database that contains supplier information, preferably one that suppliers can enter their information themselves. Institute second and third tier diversity spend targets. Establish a mentoring program. Develop internal awareness programs. Actively participate in outside organizations. Invest in training for the diverse suppliers. Hold seminars with senior management, diverse suppliers. Transition to comprehensive strategy for supplier development. Align supplier diversity with global sourcing initiatives or with your company's initiatives. Provide capital investments and provide company employee expertise. Example of process benchmarking is the contract maturity module. Contract maturity model, CMM. An organization can assess its procurement planning process whereby it identifies diverse suppliers and measures itself against the best practices identified in CMM. Contract management maturity module, 6 contract management key process areas. Procurement planning, solicitation planning, bid planning. And these are the different levels. ad hoc, incomplete, managed, internally integrated, and creating advantage. Solicitation, source selection, contract administration, and contract closeout. So here's the contract management maturity model again, ad hoc, basic, structured, integrated. Here's a short article on it if you're interested. Able Postgraduate School. Best practices and trends. Supplier diversity programs are common across both private and public industry. Federal agencies have an overall percent goal within the supplier diversity program. Most state and local agencies have goals for business with diverse suppliers, and most large private companies have supplier diversity programs, especially if they're consumer products or service companies. Many groups exist to promote supplier diversity. We covered some of these before. $1 Billion Roundtable is a new one. Yeah. Practices that are used to develop supplier diversity programs include things like spend alignment, aligning the spend with supplier capabilities, supplier identification, go out and proactively identifying diverse suppliers, and supplier development, focusing on activities on a few key suppliers to bring them up to speed. Best practice trends, spend alignment, identify spend areas, assess potential of diverse suppliers based on market prevalence, benchmark with peers, and align spend with markets with most potential. Results achieved from the above best practice include proactive opportunity identification and optimization of diverse supplier spend. Supplier diversity activity matrix. So you've got another 4x4. Proactive and reactive, low engagement and high engagement. So proactive and low engagement, general awareness building and direct supplier solicitation. Reactive in a low engagement environment, we direct commodity managers to potential resources. So high engagement, proactive is really where they want to be. Proactive supplier identification and qualification based on future opportunities. And reactive in high engagement is actively support key initiatives through supplier outreach. Supplier development, mentoring, and development efforts are key to a successful supplier diversity program. Criteria for segmentation may include total spend, potential spend, performance, willingness to grow, focus on mentoring activities, management skills, capacity building, lean and quality. Customizing supplier diversity program, the organization should customize a mentoring program to the diverse suppliers' needs. The program must also be mutually agreed upon. Can't be forced on the supplier. The NMSDC developed the best practices list below. Establish corporate policy, develop corporate minority development plan, establish comprehensive communications, identify for MBEs in strategic sourcing and supply chain management opportunities for the diverse suppliers. Establish comprehensive minority supplier development, establish tracking and reporting to goals, continuous improvement, and getting tier ones to conduct a tier two or lower program. And worldwide diverse supplier initiatives. All right. Which of the following answers is not an actual third-party certifying body for managing supplier certifications? Something tells me it's B. That doesn't seem to fit with anything. No, it's C. Small business, yeah, the SBA. It's not a third-party certifying body. Which of the following would you not describe as a necessary practice for a supplier diversity program? Man, this is a double negative. Which of the following would you not describe as necessary? Well, I don't think you would require them to submit financial reports prior to submitting the RFP because all their finances aren't that good. Well-defined and well-structured program for mentoring diversity aid, want that. Implementing web-based database, yeah. Include supplier diversity programs and employee performance reviews, yeah. So it's got to be A. A it is. Okay, summary. Many organizations designate supplier diversity managers. Some organizations may encounter hostility to supplier diversity efforts, can be overcome through education and training. And 65% of organizations with a supplier diversity program had a diversity certification process for tier ones, and 15 had a process for tier twos. 66% of organizations with a diversity program encourage their top tier suppliers to also maintain a program, with 16% requiring tier one suppliers to have a diversity program. A number of advocacy groups that can help with diversity certification, cover a number of those. And for many diversity information, for many, the DIR is the best known minority business directory in the US. It's where you find minority businesses. In the US, the US government has a directory of disadvantaged businesses under the SAM program. And Global Diverse Supplier Diversity Alliance is a supplier diversity platform representing international supplier diversity advocacy organizations. Okay, let's go look at some questions. We are on B5. Okay, go ahead and do the questions on your own. We'll cover the answers in a minute. All right, some answers here. Number one is Delta, cross-industry report of standard benchmarks. Two is Charlie, organization be interested in the supplier's capabilities. Three is Delta. Four is Alpha. We're looking for the exception. Supplier should not write the organization's supplier diversity policy. Five is Alpha. He would not consider the number of diverse suppliers who have exited the market performance benchmark. Six is also Alpha. Supply management professionals responsible to ensure pricing is competitive. Seven is Delta. The Foreign National Chamber of Commerce is not an actual chamber of commerce. All right. We will study the last one, B6, tomorrow.